Okay, so semi-final one is done. It's over with. We have our qualifiers, and oh boy, what a night. We're going to go through each of them, give you my thoughts on them, how the performance was on the night. So right off the bat, here are our 10 qualifiers. We have Belgium, Croatia, Finland, Greece, Israel, Lithuania, Moldova, Poland, Serbia, and Sweden. Those are the 10 going through. I got 8 out of 10 who I wanted to go through. So let's have a look at the night at large, see how it went. So starting off with Moldova, and Viva Moldova, of course, by Satoshi. This was, as I've said, perfect party piece to open. Love the staging, love the shaky cam, love all the elements. Aliona Moon being like hoisted into the air. It was the perfect song to open with. Was it vocally perfect? Not like 100%, but absolutely set the vibe. Was really, really happy with this. It seems like the crowd were too. And it qualified. Great start for Moldova being a returning country. Really happy that went through. Next up, we had Sweden with Felicia and My System. No, I can't get you out of my system. Now, I've said before, I love this song. I love the production. It's that kind of dance pop I'm really into. This was by far the worst I've seen it performed live so far. Now, that it wasn't a bad performance by any means, but vocally, I'm not sure what was going on. We were a bit all over the place. The pitch was like flying all over, and I'm honestly not sure what happened. It was still a good performance. The staging looked cool. Definitely, like a lot of people have been saying, that I agree with this sentiment, that it was better at Melfest than I think it was last night. Like the way it was staged for Melfest was a lot better. Still a great song. Still glad it qualified. But yeah, really hoping it's a bit better come Saturday night, because that is not, it's not the best I've seen it. Not as best I know it can be. Next was Croatia, Lelek, and Andromeda. On the flip side, this was the best I've heard it sung live. Still wasn't perfect. I think, you know, when it changes, when it shifts key to go up for that last 30 seconds, it is a very difficult line to hit for any vocalist, no less when you're doing like a 5-part harmony. I think the ladies absolutely nailed the rest of the song. That slow, moody build was absolutely perfect. Love the staging, love the whole vibe of it. It absolutely came together. I think if we can absolutely lock in those harmonies for the final on Saturday, then I actually think we're in for a really good result. There's been a lot of speculation. Croatia may well have won the jury side of the vote for this semi-final. We're not going to know that until the contest is completely wrapped up with, but I can see some sort of credence to that. But very happy that they got through. Just even tighter on Saturday, please. Song number 4 was Greece with Achilles and Feto for Greece. This was bonkers. Everything in the kitchen sink was thrown at it, but I was kind of here for it. I mean, the song is all about, you know, bringing more the excess of like consumerism and stuff like that. I thought that was really put across. Now, granted, obviously, as someone like me and you in the Euro fan bubble, we're more prone to this. Is Joe Bloggs from the general public going to understand that? It's hard to say. I know at least the UK commentators made that sort of point that Ferto means, like, you know, bring it. So maybe that came across. But I loved the zaniness. I thought Achilles was on top form with both energy and the way the vocal was put across. I thought the bit in the bridge when it swaps to him talking about his mum was very tender, very sweet. He sounded great on that part. The audience in the arena were loving it. And yeah, no surprise, it qualified. As to whether or not this is going to storm the televote on Saturday, I think after seeing this, it may well do. I mean, you know, after Espresso Macchiato and ones like it, I think it could be in for a big televote score. However, let's temper expectations. Is it going to be enough to absolutely storm it and end up winning? That's another conversation entirely. Song number 5 was Portugal, Bandidos de Cante with Rosa. First non-qualifier. I was so gutted about this. Loving this song the more I've heard it. I thought the performance last night was absolutely beautiful. Actually, very emotional, I must say, for me at least. I love the way it was presented. It was so simple, so stripped back, and a great palate cleanser for after Greece's performance as well. I was honestly rooting for these guys. I had a hunch they'd do what Napa did last year, defy the odds. And it didn't happen. Whether or not people weren't engaged with the staging or the song, it's hard to say at this point. Obviously, different people take different things. But no, I was really, really upset about them non-qualifying. I'm going to talk more about my thoughts about the non-qualifiers towards the end of the video as well, so stick around for that and maybe what they could have done differently. But yeah, generally quite gutted for them. Next, we have another non-qualifier, Georgia on replay by Vazikovi.
Yeah, we rise and fall and rise again.
Oh, guys. I love these guys, as I know a lot of us do, but the performance on the night, sadly, was just not it. Why on earth the camera crews decided to show constant like wide shots or from really far back showing how bare the stage was apart from the three of them, I think that was a misguided choice. I think there should have been more going on stage, whether they had 3 backing dancers or some props. I know it's all down to cost, but I think we could have done a lot more here. The song itself I liked. I think it's good. It's definitely catchy, but it didn't really come together in the live performance. We'll talk more about why later. Song number 7 is the favourite still. It's Finland, Lincoln Hayton by Linda Lampenius and Petti Parkkonen. This was a good performance. I'm not seeing like the winning performance. I have seen obviously various versions of this now a few times. Maybe the effect's been dulled down. But I thought if I felt the same the first time watching it at UMK, then maybe I won't click with this. I do think it's a really good song, though. I am enjoying the song more. I think Petti's vocals were absolutely on it on this performance. Best I've seen them, I think. Linda soaring on that live violin. Excellent choice being allowed to play it live as well. Could this win Eurovision? I am starting to see it more. I'm drinking a bit more of the Kool-Aid, but I think we do once again need to temper expectations. Let's see how people in semi-final 2 do as well. See how that comes across first and foremost. But no, on the whole, I'm starting to see it a bit more. It was a very accomplished performance. No doubt this was going through. And here they are. Song number 8 is another non-qualifier. It's Montenegro, Nova Zora by Tamara. I was very gutted. I do like this song a lot. It was one of my favorites as a song. The studio version, especially the revamped version, was really cool. I was really digging the staging. I liked it when it was getting him really close, you know, in all with Tamara and her dancers and the vibe they were going for. I thought that was absolutely spot on. But being completely frank, the vocal was just not it. And was it me? At the start, it sounded like she was slightly out of time as well, which apparently happened during the jury show. But to my ears, it sounded like she was ever so slightly out of time on the live broadcast as well, which isn't great. The vocals, whilst the performance, if you like, the story was put across really well, the performance for me, the vocal especially, just wasn't there. And it was heartbreaking for me because I was really rooting for this song. Like a lot of us, rooting for Montenegro as well. They haven't qualified for a final since 2015. And I really hope this doesn't put the broadcaster off competing next year. It would be a shame to lose them again, but it's not great. I was hoping it'd get through, and it hasn't, but we'll talk more about that later. Next is our 4th non-qualifier. It's Vanilla Ninja, Too Epic to Be True for Estonia. Too epic to be true. Can you honestly say you're surprised? I try to have a bit of hope that the fact, you know, the nostalgic vibes of the song, the sort of early 2000s vibes of it might carry it through with some audiences, and maybe it would have done. But once again, the vocals were all over the place. Absolutely all over. That bridge bit, I have no words for that. Like, to me, this is genuinely no surprise this didn't make it through. It was not up to snuff. It was not up to standard. This song should have been a few keys down for them at the very least, or better yet, a different song. And I think it just goes to show what a lot of people thought after Esti Lowell, that, you know, this song was not the right song for Eurovision this year. But there we are. I mean, love Vanilla Ninja, they're legends in their own right, but yeah, wasn't to be this time. Can't say I'm too surprised. Wasn't too epic to be true. Song number 10 was Israel Michelle by Noam Batan. Is it any surprise this qualified? Israel at this point could literally place I don't know, they could put a rock on the stage with a little Israeli flag on it and it would qualify. Can Noam sing this song? Yes, he can. The vocals I thought were pretty consistent. However, I still maintain, in my opinion, the song itself is a very mid sort of song. It doesn't really go anywhere. If this had been any other nation, this would have been like a bare scrape qualifier, maybe like 10th, or it wouldn't have qualified at all. And you can't convince me otherwise, unfortunately. I don't really have much more to say. We'll see what happens on Saturday, but, you know, can we say we're really surprised? Song number 11 is Dancing on the Ice by Essila for Belgium. This was the other one that I didn't have to go through. This was a shock. I've not necessarily hated this song. I don't think it's really clicked with me, but I'd argue again, like with Croatia, vocally, this is the best I've heard Essila sing this song. Much better than what we've seen in the past where people were immediately writing her off as like an instant non-qualifier. I'd argue from the vocals alone and then how it's been framed, Has she earned that place in the final? Absolutely. She absolutely has. And fair play to her. Many congratulations to her and her team for that. It was a surprise. I think it's been a surprise to everyone. I imagine the results will come out later, but I'd like to think it was a close horse race between this, maybe Montenegro, maybe Portugal as well. We'll have to see. But yeah, she's in. Song number 12, Solo Quiero Más by Lion Seeker for Lithuania. Solo Quiero Más. I'm so happy that this got through. I was so worried at one point that it wouldn't, but this is, from the first semi-final at least, this is the most artistic entry we have. What I mean by that is the way it's framed, the staging. I've already watched it a few times today. The way it's staged with the cloak and Lion's movements and the silverness, it does make sense. The vocals, that bit with the subtitles, I laughed, but also it makes a lot of sense for the song. I've really fallen in love with this and the way it's staged. And I'm glad it's gotten through. I think it deserves to be there. As to whether or not how it's going to do in the final, I'm a bit more like, it's hard to say. I don't know whether the public would have necessarily clicked with it as much, but I'm glad it's managed to get there. Lion's a great performer. This staging was great. This song is better for it. Yeah, really happy that's gone through. Song number 13 is our final non-qualifier. It's Senate with Boy George and Superstar for San Marino. You're a superstar! Well, again, can anyone say they were surprised? You try and whack in a Boy George cameo for the last 25 seconds of your song. I said from the start, having a well-known name is not a guarantee for a place in the Eurovision final. While Senate is a legend and she absolutely delivers it for this performance, it's camp times a million. The song itself was, rather dated. It doesn't go anywhere. It's catchy, yes, but in the field that it's up against, no way was it going to stand out. Boy George looked a bit more enthused for the televised performance, but his 2 lines, sadly, are not enough to carry it over the line. And what's funny is, at least the outlets here in the UK, aside from Israel qualifying, the headline is, Boy George didn't go through. And I'm like, spend 5 minutes in the Eurovision world and watch it all, and you'll have understood that from the start, It didn't deserve to go through anyway. Sorry, San Marino, try again next time. 2 more then, we have Poland and Pray by Alicia. So I gotta pray. Now, this was well deserved. Poland was sort of cast out in the odds for months. I cast it out originally, I think, when I first heard it and as time went on. But her vocal that night was arguably the best vocal of semi-final 1. I'm going to put that out there. She absolutely nailed it. She was consistent. She was strong. She got the message of the song across. The staging really lent to it as well. It was an absolute powerhouse performance. I'll be very curious to see where this fell in the the public votes when this came out. I imagine this got a good jury score. But yeah, vocally, again, it surprised me, but she was the best vocalist, I think, for semi-final 1. So they've absolutely earned their spot to be there. Really hope it pays some dividends in the final. But, especially for Alicia, where she was meant to take part in the 2020 contest, and now she's getting her dues here. It's wonderful. And last but not least, we have Serbia, Lavina with Kraj Mene. I had no doubts this was going to go through. I've always said with songs like this, there are more than enough people who vibe with this sort of style that are going to push songs like this over the line if they're good, and this song is great. I thought the lead vocalist absolutely delivered on all the fronts, from when it was very quiet to building up to the big screaming parts. Absolutely wonderful. The staging, even though a lot of it was very similar to what we saw at the Serbian national final, it absolutely worked there in Vienna. Really pushed through, great song to finish on, and I couldn't be happier that they're through. So big up Serbia. So as I said, 8 out of 10. One of them I didn't want to go through was Israel for quite obvious reasons, and the other was Belgium. So for our non-qualifiers, what could they have done differently? Let's start with San Marino. What could they have done differently? Send a different song. I maintain that in that 4-hour national final, there were many other contenders that maybe wouldn't have won Eurovision, maybe not even would have qualified, but there were much better songs than Superstar. That is just non-negotiable in my eyes. For Estonia, again, I think it's a similar thing. There were several other songs for me in that Esti Lau lineup that could have easily outperformed Vanilla Ninja and that song. True case that brand recognition doesn't get you everywhere. Again, love to the ladies. They are Eurovision legends in their own way, but I can see why it wasn't to be this time. For Georgia and Bezikabi, it's hard because I think the song as a song had the merits to qualify, but it's like I said, add some props to the stage, add some backing dancers, or if you're going to keep it exactly as it is with just the three of them and some things on the screen, keep the camera shots tight. Don't do these big wide shots where it looks so empty and bare. I mean, I'd argue as much as I love the three of them, the vocals weren't really gelling that well either, which doesn't help at all. But yeah, that was the main thing for me. Just don't make the stage look as bare. For Portugal, it's hard to say what they could have done differently. I think for me personally, the song and the performance was pretty much spot on for what they were trying to achieve. Maybe they could have done more movement. I thought what was there was fine. But yeah, I'd like to think when the results come out that this was on the razor's edge of qualifying. Maybe it wasn't, but I like to think that. And then you have poor old Montenegro. Poor old Montenegro. What could they have done? I think the song was there, by and large. I think it was on it. I think the staging was on it. I love the vibe. I love what they were trying to go for. I think what the ultimate problem was, as mentioned, was the vocal. The vocal, sadly, did not carry over what the song was trying to do, which was the biggest disappointment. And, you know, I look back at the Montenegrin at Monta song, and the vocal there wasn't perfect either. But I don't know what was going on last night. It was all over. And I implore you to go back and watch that performance as well, because I think it bears that fruit there. I think the audience maybe didn't connect with it as Eurofans have. I think for me, the big takeaway, if you were going to send that song again, is the vocal. Lock down on the vocal before anything else. I know it's a song contest. It's not a singing contest, but vocal delivery can impact it, and it's something I'll be curious to see with Cyprus as well. But I think if your vocals aren't there, it can really affect your standing with the audience, the voting public, and especially the juries. And I think that is where this should have had the attention. Lock down on the vocals first, nail the vocal, then everything else will come. Who would I have swapped out for Israel and Belgium? Personally, I would have put Portugal in there. Absolutely, that's like a no-brainer. And based on that performance, it's sort of the best of a bad bunch. I would have put Montenegro through. I would have put it through with the caveat that it really needed to rise above for the Saturday performance. Whether or not it would have done remains to be seen. But yeah, I would have swapped Israel and Belgium for Portugal and Montenegro. But that is my thoughts, reactions to semi-final one. On the whole, like with the show, I have many thoughts to say on the show, but I think I'm going to save them for when Eurovision is wrapped up. What I mean by that is like things like the postcards, the host, the way it's been staged, the interval acts. I'm going to save all of that for post the grand final when we do like a recap of everything. That's where that will come in. But I just wanted to focus on the songs today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do stick around, subscribe to the channel as well. Do stay with us because I'll be giving my thoughts on semi-final 2 when that's happened, about the qualifiers, the non-qualifiers, give some early thoughts about the grand final as well, so do stick around for that. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comments down below. How many out of 10 did you get through in your personal predictions? I'd love to know that. Subscribe to the channel, hype us up if you can, share the video around, but until the next time, I've been Adam Martin from ESC Adam. Thanks for watching. See you later.